Initially, I was going to do ranking sex positions, but I thought that was too much. That was too direct. So instead, I wanted to include everything from rated G to rated X in a very decent, tasteful way, if you will. Not naming things exactly for what they are, but using a little bit of friendly slang, because I think we all get it. But this is a must do stream because I am a sexologist. I'm not a certified one, but I've been studying the topic of sex and intimate activity since 14 years old. And actually, literally since 13 with encyclopedias. Yes, I had an interest in it since 13 and a half years old about. You could talk to me more about that in the comments. Feel free. I'm very open-minded. But, before you run away, don't worry. This is teenager-friendly, this entire stream. No need to go into great detail. More like a bar talk. Something decent for the public. All right, so with that out of the way, let's jump right into it. All right, baby chick. You are not allowed to witness this stream, baby chick. You need to go, okay? So, baby chick, no. Not that way. The other way. Okay, yeah. Go play with the other chicks, okay? All right, I'll see you later. This is not for baby chicks. This is for adult chicks. And the male roosters out there. Time to get into it. Let's all jump in the sack. No, don't take that literally. All right. So, without further ado, let's present the first category of intimate activities to rate. Oh boy, here we go. All right. So, first up in the aisle is oral sex. Starting off extremely spicy here. Why not? Usually I start off very low. Let's just start at the highest. But still keeping it PG-13. Let's just say that good girls always go deep and swallow, while great men always pay back the favor by reciprocation. That's as far as I'm going to get into it. Absolutely S tier. You do not love your partner if you're not giving the oral. It's not a preference. Don't even try to look. Just make sure everything's well shaven and take a quick shower or rinse yourself off. Do whatever you got to do. You guys can talk about the details. But oral sex is a must. I don't care who you are. If you're a religious extremist, if you're a shy person, that's the truth. You will not make it to a soulmate's relationship if you don't know how to master the art of oral. You see, love is conditional. We're starting with all these conditions. Otherwise, what is the point of being in a relationship? What? You're going to live all alone and use some sex toys and fantasize about having someone watch some pornography? I mean, give me a break, people. The whole point of having a partner is for them to be your fantasy. You've heard me say it a million times. But now we're going to get into it, the nitty gritty, shall we? So, the next topic, let's go ahead and unveil it. All right. Looks like we have hugging next. Let me see, is my sound effect working? Okay, I know how to make it work now. Okay, so now we're on hugging. Okay, so hugging. See, rated G. Feeling each other's warmth and hearts beating together as one. Such a sweet thing to do. Yes, hugging is super important. Now, but this is something anybody can do, but it is extremely important. So I'm going to put it in the A category. Well, you know what? I'm going to take it down a notch because otherwise everything's going to be A. I'm going to put it down in B category because it's something everybody can do, but it's very important. But I have to leave the extremely and the super categories empty for the main hitters, the home runners, if you will. When you think about hugging, it's not like you knock it out of the park. but it doesn't mean that it's not important. Of course it's important. But you kind of hug family members, you hug friends, so not quite in the A and S category, if you know what I mean. Because we're competing against all this other stuff here. Okay, so next category. Let's go ahead and announce it. Alright, we got hugging. Regular kissing. Now, nothing special here. Regular kissing on the lips or other areas of the body. Nothing but lips on lips and hips. Okay, so kissing, similar to hugging, you know, this is something that every couple does. Going right up there and B, it's very important. But it's not the spiciest of the spiciest, so nothing too major, right? Alright, let's go ahead and move forward, shall we? What do we got next? Erotic massage. There we go. Jeez Louise. Of course, finishing things off with a nice happy ending for him and for her. Covering all the erogenous zones. Erotic massage. Absolutely. I mean, what is life without regular massage? But you see, massage was already talked about in my Valentine's Day special, I believe. But this one goes into the A category. Gotta know how to touch and feel your partner. Now, it's not necessarily sexual, but it's more sensual. Because you're not necessarily dealing with any type of intercourse here. We're just simply manipulating the body and erogenous zones. Every part of the body, pretty much, is not off limits. You know, talk to your partner, of course. How they want to be touched. Surprise them and see if they like it. You know, you got communication is key. But they don't go over the details. So of course you got to agree with each other. And that's how you build the perfect relationship, is constant communication, constant agreement, no arguments, nothing negative, always open-minded, always adventurous, always willing to try new things, and take it nice and slow. Right? All right. So, sounds fantastic. Let's go over the next category. Moving pretty fast here. All right, next up to the plate. Tongue kissing. Ooh, yeah, baby. Now, if you're not kissing with the tongue, you got some problems. Once again, if you're a religious extremist or whatever, too shy, I don't care what the reason is. You have to want to taste your partner. You know, your tongue has all these nerve endings. I mean, give me a break. I mean, what happens when you have a tasty meal? I mean, there's sucking, licking, biting, even kissing food sometimes for some of you out there, you crazy heads. So if you're not doing that to your partner, you got some serious problems. And you're not going to make it to the soulmate category. Oh boy, so tongue kissing is right up there with the oral. Yes, absolutely. Couple of mouths up there. Let me explain why. Because it's called making out, right? Because you can't just be kissing lips on lips. That's going to be too boring after a while. After a while, I'm saying. Not that kissing is boring. And so, when you know you guys are into each other, when you can just make out and make out. They call it foreplay, but I call it making out. Technically, it's foreplay if you're going to have intercourse right after. Usually, it's a 1, 2, 3, bang, bang. I get it. But making out, passionate kissing. That's the word here, passion. Oral and tongue kissing, mamma mia. You just want to devorar tu pareja. You want to devour your partner. If she doesn't want to... I have this in my book in great detail. I mean, frightening detail. And it's original content in my book. I go over all of the sexual practices. But you have to earn that. It's towards the end of the book. You can't preview that. You have to earn that by reading the whole book. And it's not in my movie, but I do go over sexual compatibility in my movie. For those of you shy people out there who can't handle the details. Oh my goodness. Let's go ahead and move on, shall we? Wow, moving super fast. Like a train. Not going to stop. All right. Getting deeper and deeper into the topic of intimate activities. Cuddling. All right, we're back to rated G. Now, cuddling is a nice peaceful time to either reflect by talking softly together, nice peaceful moment. It's very intimate. Or remaining nice and quiet, enjoying each other's company and warmth. You guys remember that scene from Pulp Fiction where John Travolta is having dinner with, I don't know who her name is, Charlize Theron? No, that's probably the wrong one. But you know, with the chick, right? And she says, don't you just enjoy that awkward, quiet moment where we just don't say anything? Yeah, sometimes, like Depeche Mode, words can only do harm. Just enjoy the silence. That's exactly the title of the song. And just learn how to just be still with each other in complete harmony. It's so beautiful. You don't have to talk about things, like, oh, honey this, honey that. Just hear each other's, taking a deep breath in, deep breath out, just breathing normally, just cuddling, they call it spooning, whatever you want to call it. Just enjoying the moment together. Nice and quiet, no stress. Turn off those damn phones, no excuses. You should have no interruptions this is sacred, for crying out loud. Because if you don't have these unforgettable moments of cuddling with your partner, then you can forget about the rest of the things on this list. What's the point? Because you're taking things too fast. If you don't have the time to cuddle and to take it slow, then you're just moving way too fast, and you're gonna regret it. You're gonna have what's called when you don't appreciate something, you're gonna take it for granted. That's what I'm trying to say. You're gonna take it for granted. These moments are all we have, right here, right now. Enjoy the silence. Enjoy the peace. You don't have to talk about something. You don't have to fill in dead air. So let's go ahead and rate this. This is a very peaceful activity, but right up there with B. If I could give it a B plus, I would, but this ranking list is not that specific, okay? Don't lose your marbles over this. If I could, I would put it above hugging if we were to go extra rating here. But that's not the point. So, let us go ahead and proceed, shall we? All right, what's next up on the chopping block? Regular sex. Vanilla Manila. All right, so what I mean by regular sex. Good old missionary standard 101 sex, glancing into each other's eyes, okay? Nothing too primal here. Taking things nice and slow, right? So, regular sex, I would say the majority of couples do this, so it's going to be B tier, obviously. It's a must-have. Now, why do I do that? Because, well, it's very position specific. I mean, even in religion, I think almost all of them agree that missionary is the only position. I'm talking about going way back, or culture-wise. You cannot, and even in the army, I heard something right when I joined that you're not allowed to do it from behind or something, and I'm like, how is the army going to know what you're doing behind closed doors? but technically I have to go back and research that because I couldn't believe my ears what I was hearing. They said, Ramos, technically, the army can get you if you're doing different sexual positions. I was like, what? Excuse me? How the heck is the army going to know? It was one of the wildest things that I ever heard, but I don't know if it's true. Maybe they were just messing with me. But nope, this came from some senior people, so who knows? That was just wild. But anyways, going up there in the B category, let us move on, shall we? All right. What is next? What is next here? Biting. Ah, yes. Mordiendo. This is part of the devorar, to devour, biting. What do you do with food that's delicious? You're gonna bite it. You're gonna swallow it, right? This is what we do with delicious food. This is what we do with thirst. There is no should I swallow. Of course you're going to swallow. Anyways, but when you're biting your partner, we're not talking about zombies here. We're talking about light biting. Okay, let's go over it. Lightly nibbling and biting different parts of the body. It's playful. Even animals do this when they play around with each other. But when humans do it, it's a lot more erotic. Biting is a sign of extreme desire to please your partner. You're going to notice this. Also scratching and clawing, but that's not on the list. But it's a real animalistic instinct, if you will. And we're going to get more animalistic later in the list. So let's go ahead and rate biting. It's not necessary. Biting, it's okay. But most people don't do this. So I would say biting is when you're really turned on. I want to experience that. I want my partner to want to bite me lightly, to want to devour me, so to speak. So yes, A category, because you're getting more primal. You're getting you're getting very erotic here. You can tell this is body language, people. Sex and sensuality. It's all about body language. There are no words to describe it. So the body language ultimately brings out that feeling of love. So the action, physical action, brings out the emotion. It charges, it energizes that energy in motion, emotion from within. And that's what we call love, chemistry, right? All right. I mean, of course I want my partner biting, licking, and sucking, and all of it. Because, the mouth is extremely erotic. The words that come out of my mouth and everybody else's mouth, they're spells. That's why we say spelling. But not to get off on a tangent, because we're all wizards when we want to be. Let's go ahead and move on to the next topic, shall we? Unveiling it. Okay. So, biting to sexting. Oh boy. When the mobile devices came out, I believe, what was it, 2011? Because I didn't know what sexting was. Because, now we had images that we can send. Before it was the Nokias and the old Samsung phones. You only had like the Snake game and Tetris on there, and it wasn't even black and white. It's more like green and yellow and black graphics. But sexting nowadays, absolutely, why not? But let's go ahead and describe, if you trust your partner 100%, you gotta really have a strong sense of trust. Not just when, I just met each other, let's sext. No, dude, that's too risky. You don't do this with somebody that you don't trust, because those images could be posted online or shared with others, and you know what? Legally, they can't really do much about it. You're kind of trapped, But if you trust your partner, then feel free to sext each other to keep the passion alive during hard working days. All right. But is it necessary? No, it's not necessary. It's just something to do. So I'm going to put it down in the C tier. It's not that important. And it's nothing classic to expect in the equation of love. Is it a bad idea? No. But it's something average. It's something extra. It's not necessarily the cherry on the cake. It's more like a few more sprinkles of the little candies. It's not really necessary. I guess what I'm trying to say is like marble slab creamery. When I was back in the States, you don't really need all those candies inside the ice cream. Just have the dang ice cream, okay? And just pick one topping. But some people want 3 toppings. I get it. Sexting's going to go in the C category, C tier, because it's not a must. All right, let's go ahead and move on. For those of you who don't know, this is the Inception boing sound effect because it's so big of a deal. Whenever you start talking about sex, people bolt for the doors. Oh, I don't want to hear this. Like it's taboo. It's like, this is 2024, people. What is wrong with you people? What is so scary about you were created from sex itself. You are literally the product of sperm and egg through sexual intercourse, and you're gonna run away from the topic. You were born in the amniotic fluid, all dirty when you came out of the womb and vagina, and you guys are gonna run away from this topic like a bunch of cowards. Give me a break. That's a sign of immaturity right there. So for those of you immature, intelligent ones still sticking around, I appreciate it. Thank you for doing the world a favor and not being a coward, an immature coward. Absolutely astonishingly amazing how weak people are nowadays, mentally and emotionally. They're like, oh, he's talking about sex. Okay. And you guys are talking about violence and murder and all this other death, and I don't even want to hear it. All right, I'm talking about life and in passion here, okay? Everything that you should be living. So let's go ahead and, let's move on to the next topic, shall we? Okay. So after sexting is sex toys. All right, like I said about sexting, sex toys. I do put this in my book. You got to be very careful, people, because all these toys that vibrate and thrust and suction and they can overstimulate the glands. They can overstimulate our erogenous zones. When you tickle somebody too much, you can literally tickle somebody to death. I'm not saying that sex toys are going to kill you. Look, you should use them sparingly. I mean, if you have to, if you must, right? And I'll tell you why. Because if you use overstimulation, you're going to start to lose sensitivity. And guess what? That could affect your actual sex life. People have broken up because of this. They've used too much sex toys in their relationship. And then they're like, you know what? I don't need you. And then, they break up and then they live alone and then they realize the big mistake that they made once they get tired of using those sex toys. I can go on a whole stream talking about the problems of sex toys alone. All the different types for males and females. I'm not going to do that. But what I will say about sex toys is yes and no. You should have everything you could possibly desire with just your partner, but it's absolutely okay to try new things. So sex toys, you know what? I'm going to put it in the D category. Because sex toys are more like for people who are single. And it's not as good as, say, sexting when you finally found somebody to love with all your heart and soul. I hope you guys understand what angle I'm approaching here. No pun intended. Sex toys, compared to sexting. Sexting is a lot more productive because that's an actual person. But the sex toys is kind of like replacing, and that's what kind of like the New World Order, excuse me on this tangent. They want to replace humans with robots in the future. They're working on it as I speak. They've been working on it for decades now. To create, they started with mannequins, now they're into the robots that reciprocate, not love, but erotic motions, sexual activity. Programmed, of course. They have robots and mannequins also, that heat up by them. They have heating units, they have motion, and then you can program. This is a sad time that we're living in, but hey, it's great for a single person, if that's what you want. You order one of these things and it comes in a big crate. Good luck hiding that thing, by the way. You imagine a friend opens your closet and be like, what is this? To each their own, okay? That's pretty freaky, keeping that thing in a body bag. Anyways, but what I'm trying to say is that be very careful with sex toys. It's only an exaggeration that you don't need in your life. I'm not putting them down. I'm just saying it's something that you can supplement. It's not necessary. Like I said, I can do a whole stream on this. Let's just move on, okay? It's way too much information, and I do go over it in my book in greater detail. Next topic, shall we? All right, what's next up on the list? We have, yes, pornography. We've come a long way since the 1990s. What am I going to say about pornography? How precisely? Well, you have to know precisely what you strongly desire. So pornography is a fantastic way to identify what you really want. It's also a great educational tool. Nothing more. You're not supposed to fall in love with the artists, the actors in pornography. Okay, that's stupid. Even if you're single, okay, these are not real people. They're never ever gonna love you, and you're gonna like, I don't know, like Amy Reed or other. I just happen to remember her name off the top of my mind. But yes, because I watched interviews to learn more about their perspective on pornography. I actually watched the interviews with these actresses. I guess they just call them actors nowadays. But regardless, is pornography important in a relationship? Yes, because you need to know. I mean, look, if you guys can't imagine it, if you guys don't, because it's an educational tool. So I'd say teenagers who are 18 years old, getting ready to go into a serious relationship. I'd say maybe 18 years old, 21 years old at the latest. I mean, really, I was into porn, researching because that's what I was doing. You can call it science for all I care. I really wanted to study the topic of sex and sexual intimacy, attraction, all of it. I had no idea how much I was educating myself way back then in my teenager years until in my adult years. I'm like, you know what? I do know a ton about these topics. So I'm going to say it's not that easy to say, oh, porn is this and that's it. Oh my goodness. I could do a whole stream about pornography, the benefits and disadvantages. So, where am I going to put it in the list? Well, this is the first time I actually rate pornography, but it's extremely important. I would say, yes, watch it with your partner. Actually, this sucker goes in A tier, believe it or not. Use it only as a tool. Do not get obsessed with pornography. It's a tool, okay? It's just like anything else that can be abused. You can use a gun, a weapon to kill or to save somebody. You can use a car to run over somebody or to get to point A to point B. It's just like anything else that can be misused. And I also go over on one of my podcasts with somebody who, just go ahead in my podcast. You'll figure it out. I talk about masturbation and pornography. It's you'll get all my perspectives there. But why an A tier? Because you can't just talk about it. It's great to have a visual. And you'll know precisely, you'll tell your partner, you see what happened there? And I know it's a bunch of acting, but it's the action that counts, right? Because back then with the Kama Sutra, they can only draw on walls and paper. It can only go so far. Nowadays with high definition 4K, there's no excuses. You know exactly what to show your partner. Go ahead and mark the favorite of video that you would like her or him to perform. And say, that's what I want. That's what my mind and my heart desire. I want to feel that. I want to feel that from you, not from the porn stars. You see how special that is? And then you become the champion and say, hey, did I do it good? Do you like it? Always rate each other, not from like what we're doing here, but congratulate each other's efforts constantly, motivating them. But it's not a critique. Let them know how they did. Be honest. Otherwise, you're lying to yourself. It's not narcissistic. You need to tell your partner what you want. Otherwise, guess what? You're going to be cheating on them one day, or you're going to break up. It's not going to work. If you guys don't master sexuality, you are done, either now or in the future. That's why this is important. It's a very beautiful tool. And that's it. And guess what? Once you guys master your sexuality, sexual intimacy, then you don't need to watch porn anymore. Got it? Get it? Good. Let us proceed. So yeah, it's just like learning how to drive. You only go to the driver test once, right? You don't need to go back there again. You already know how to drive. Go practice on your own, right? It's just a tool. All right. So pornography to watching romantic movies. Now this is still PG-13. I mean, if they're still around, right? Romantic movies, they don't make them like they used to. But there are some awesome tear-producing love films out there. Find them and enjoy them. I mean, but is it necessary? No, it's just something fun to do. You don't need movies. But it's far better than sex toys, so I'm going to put it right up there with sexting. Really, increases the moment, the feeling of the moment. Say it's Valentine's Day, watch a romantic movie together, but remember, you guys are the show. You guys are the stars of your own movie, a lifelong movie. By the way, watch my movie. All right, on to the next topic. Well, activity, intimate activity. All right, what do we have here? After romantic movies, sex outdoors. Mamma mia. How natural can you get? The way whatever created us intended. Out in the open. Legally, of course. So let's explain here. In your backyard, in a tent, that's a good idea, right? Just don't be too loud if you have neighbors, for crying out loud. Or out in the wild camping. Even better if you're going to be loud about it. Once again, don't make sure there's nobody around, right? And be careful with the cops, because they don't like people camping in uncertified areas, uncleared areas. You guys know the drill. Look up your guys' municipal rules or whatever. You know, the land and what the land, who the land belongs to, where you're allowed to camp and not. Okay, you got it. It's a fresh, empowering feeling to make love the way nature intended. You know, this reminds me when I was in the army. No, there's no sex involved. Okay, obviously. In basic training, we had the field exercises, and we were forced to sleep outside of the tents, just right there on the ground. You put your head on your helmet, and you just slept there, and you did painful, 8-hour shifts of guarding during the night and day until the mission was complete. And it's just something refreshing of waking up with that cool breeze in nature. And I imagine, wow, that would be so awesome if I actually made love to my once upon a time girlfriend at that moment, not my soulmate yet. Wow, that must have been awesome. And so nowadays, now that we're soulmates, we have done this. And let me tell you guys, I mean, not to go into great detail, but naked in the wild, it's okay it's enough to be inside of a tent. Okay, you don't have to be outside of the tent. No indecent exposure here. It's something wild. If you guys own a farm, you know what to do. Get out there in the wild. Now, is this necessary in a relationship? No. So once again, I'm going to go ahead and put this in the C category. It is just a nice extra thing to do. But is it absolutely necessary? No, because your home, the four walls that you live in and the roof over your head, that's going to be your palace. Home sweet home. So be careful with too many vacations and even camping trips, right? Because you don't want to run away from your home. Your home has to be sacred. It has to be the best place between the both of you. And only you guys together can make that happen. So let's go ahead and move on, shall we? All right, what's next? What's N-E-X-T? Hotel sex. Now, nobody's a stranger to this. 5-star hotel, 6-star. I don't know if they have 7 stars, because you always get out of control with the ratings. All right, so hotel sex in particular, because last time we just talked about getting out, vacating the home on a vacation, go to a hotel. This time we're talking about ordering room service, enjoying a nice hot jacuzzi or hot tub, a chance to make love in a fancy location, fit for a king and queen to enjoy. So, but hey, is it necessary? No, your home should be fit for a king and queen. So once again, the C category is not necessary. It's just an idea to, kind of spice up the relationship a little bit. No, I'm more like refresh and support. Have some variety. Let's move on, shall we? All right. So next on the list is shower sex. You could do this in a hotel or at home. How about that? Now, it's not absolutely necessary. Most people, for goodness sake, you go in, you get out, you take your time or you don't take your time. Everybody has preferences. But the classic scene in movies. It's true. It's so erotic when, how do I say this? It's not that you walk in the bathroom, but if you want to surprise you got to clear this with your partner first, what they prefer. You don't want to scare them by creeping up behind them like, oh my goodness. The last thing you want is to give your partner a freaking heart attack, whether they're in shape or not. Anybody could have a heart attack by being scared. Scared to death, right? That's where it came from. Even an alarm clock can kill you. Nowadays, they have softer alarms, different frequencies. Like, it's so much safer. But the old alarm clocks, yeah, they cause heart attacks. Doesn't matter if you're an athlete or not. You're athletically in shape. Let me just say that shower sex is... Let's see what we have here. I mean, it's that fresh feeling, keeping the water nice and warm. Eventually, it starts to get cold, though. So that's why people start to turn it all hot. But then you're going to start to get dehydrated. Not such a great idea, ladies and gentlemen. But it's like making love in the rain. And camping, you can do that. So this is not absolutely necessary. I want to put it in C tier. Everybody should try it out and see how they feel. Okay? That's as much as I'm going to go with that. Okay, next up on the list. Let's move on. All right, let's go ahead and proceed. Shower. All right, sex in the car. Oh my God. All right, so the challenge is real. Just thinking about it, it brings me so much laughter. You know, some good memories, good times. But if you can make it work by being creative and enthusiastic about it, like I did. I mean, sex in the car is lots of memorable fun to have. But is it absolutely necessary? No, I would just stick to the shower sex. It's not a bad idea. Let me just put it in D category. Because cars are not designed to have sex. People. I mean, if you have an SUV, a van, it doesn't matter. You still have seats in the way, and yes, I get it. You know, there's even plenty of pornography based on sex in the car. But, you know, it's really bad for your posture. It's bad for your bones and your muscles and ligaments and joints. And the last thing you need is to break something in the car. It doesn't matter how perfect you do it. There's always a risk, right? Because the car is not designed... You know, car manufacturers like Toyota are not going to be like, make sure this car is fit for sex. They're not going to do that, okay? Come on, guys. And Ford, Ford is not going to be like, ladies and gentlemen, we need to make sure that this car, couples can, enough room to have sex in. So, and also mit Mercedes und BMW, they are not going to create the cars for the sex. Enough said, okay? Let's please move on. Like, the car thing is the most hilarious thing on this list, believe it or not. Okay. Oh, man. It's just, I'm having a Marty McFly laugh here, man, because it's so hilarious. All right, let's go ahead and move on. Sex in the car, my goodness gracious. All right, now we're going to get... This is spicy. That's why the Bwong goes first before all these, because watch out. This is going to get very specific, and it has to be said. If you want to be adventurous, you better be doing stuff like this. I'm not going to name the whole Kama Sutra, but the reason why you're looking at a cowgirl here is because the sexual position of cowgirl, that includes reverse cowgirl, by the way. If you don't know what I'm talking about, please go look it up, and that's kind of sad that you don't know yet. What a spectacular view is all I'm going to say. Nothing but all-female action here. Females in absolute control, so go get it, girl. Make sure you're not that heavy so you don't kill your guy underneath you and you're flexible enough. See, that's why you need to go watch my fitness videos, my diet videos, anything to do with fitness and diet, and get yourself in shape so you can have some adventurous fun. Where does cowgirl go? Of course it goes into the super tier category. It's the most erotic, sensuous thing you can... To see your woman before you, your soulmate, making sweet love to you. It's like she's in a dominant position. She's giving you the satisfaction. You can barely do anything. You could try thrusting up and down from below, but that's it's not meant to be like that. The cowgirl, reverse and regular, are meant for the woman to be in charge. You got to be the horsey and just enjoy it. That's all I'm going to go. Like PG-13, okay? But if you can't cowgirl, you better get your butt into the gym. And that's kind of ironic. So, yes, I'm just going to leave it at that. You would never imagine that it would be S tier, but you got to think long and hard about this. That's pun intended. All right, let us proceed. Oh, so much fun with this. All right, what's next on the chopping block? Food and sex. Sorry, Cool Whip, but it's too much of a classic. Whipped cream, ice cubes, chocolate, squished fruit juice. You know, from an actual fruit that you're squeezing, not actual juice. You don't want to be pouring juice over your partner, okay? You know, concentrate with pulp or no pulp. Come on, people. The point is to get all dirty, but covered with pure, sweet, all-natural, organic flavor. A real classic with whipped cream. How important is this? Not that important. But it's definitely something that is a classic. So I'm going to say, yeah, it's not that, it's, you know, let me put it in B tier. It's more popular with the women. And you got to be careful. You can't just use anything, especially in the erogenous zones. Because, you know, you want to avoid infection with chemicals and stuff. So that's why I say, if you're going to do this, be careful and be mindful and always clean as you know, clean yourself up as, you know, whatever way you can. You know, whether it's sexual or it's with a paper towel. You guys get or just water. You guys get the idea. But I'm not going to get too technical with this, but it is something to try out. I'm not going to put it in A tier because it's not something extremely important. So let's go ahead and move on, shall we? Okay. Next up in line, From Behind. Oh, mamma mia. What are we talking about here? Doggy style. If you don't know what that means, once again, look it up, and I kind of feel sorry for your soul. Born to be wild, as the song goes. Doing it like they do on the Discovery Channel, as the song goes. 100% natural primal instinct right here. From Behind. Access to 2 different forms of sex. The last one we'll go over soon. Don't worry, it's on the list. Let's see if you can figure it out from the photos. Oh my goodness, this is S tier material right here. What would life be without doggy style? You know, the animals do it doggy style. What do you think they call it doggy style, genius? It's not just doggies. I don't know, bears, wolves, giraffes maybe, hippo, I don't know, rhinoceros. I mean, yeah, I'm not gonna... Okay, people, I mean, you could do some light spanking. Use your imagination. You can massage your partner's back. I mean, it's a perfect massaging position while you're having sex. And just the sheer eroticism from a fit woman before you. And, you know, the intense thrusting motion of a man behind her. She's just as turned on as you are. I mean, From Behind is just... This is something we're born to do. You know, for all of you positive, intelligent folks out there who are listening very attentively, thank you. Kudos to you for not running away from these natural, intimate activities. Let us move on. I think I said enough about that. Extremely important. S tier. Come on. You got problems if you're going to put it anywhere below. All right. Moving on. Okay, backdoor sex. What a perfect segue. Now, I'm not going to get into any extreme details here. Absolutely. Still keeping it at PG-13. A clear sign that your girlfriend or wife is a party animal. Now we're really getting animalistic here. Deeply in love with her man now and forever. Guess where this is going? That's right. You guessed it. This is going to go, oh my goodness, if I could put it in between S tier and A tier, I would. But you know what? The tipping point is every now and then you got to have it. Now, sexual preferences aside, I am heterosexual. I understand homosexuals out there. I get it. I get it. But you have to ask yourself why nature created so many nerve endings within the back door for men and women. But hey, men, if you guys want to do that prostate play, I'm not going to judge you. You know, or even pegging. I understand. Look, I get it. But as far as for me, full-blown heterosexual, I'm going to say that the woman is going to be the one with the back door here, if you know what I mean. So, S tier, because this is a clear sign, not red flags, green flags. A huge green flag that she's saying, I love you, take me, whatever you want. Whatever you want. When a woman tells you, do whatever you want to me, I mean, you're not going to abuse her. You're not going to, hit her or anything. You're not going to harm her. But when she tells you that with full trust, all the cards on the table, that is a huge green flag, bigger than Greenpeace. Because she's telling you, my body is truly yours, and I'm here to please you. And then you don't have to go hiding behind closed doors watching pornography with backdoor sex. Capiche? You get it? Italian for do you understand? And I can go on and on about it, and I also included it in my book in further detail. Now, the back door is not created for sex, but it can be manipulated to be for sex. And women have actually reached orgasm. It's no mystery. I mean, it's 2024. Let's grow up, people. Educate yourselves. It is a thing for a very good reason. A lot of people call it sodomy, oral sex and backdoor sex. Shame on you. Shame on you, because otherwise, what is life? You are a product of sex, for crying out loud. So what are you going to do? Be a communist because your religion dictates it? For those religious extremists out there saying, this is sodomy, this is inappropriate, you've been brainwashed to say that nonsense. If it feels good, do it, and do it safely. And always consult with your partner. Always ask, is that okay? Am I going too fast? Am I going too hard? Do you like it? But I'll tell you what, when she says, if you like it more than I like it, but I'll do it because you like it, you got to keep her right there. That's marriage material, my friend. So swallowing, backdoor sex, from behind, cowgirl, licking and biting, tongue kissing, you got it all. And you better not let her go and take her for granted. Because guess what? Chances are, when you find a woman like that, who checks all those blocks, you're going to live a miserable life. Like the angry idiots that go online whining and complaining. You can tell they have the poorest sex life. They probably don't even have a sex life. So, let's go ahead and move on to the last one, shall we? Mystery, mystery. What could a hand possibly mean? All right. So, next up on the list are hand jobs. If you don't know what hand jobs are, my goodness, even prostitutes offer them. For a damn good reason, because it feels great. Playing her guitar, churning that butter, you can call it whatever you want to call it. Let's just say you have to be able to fully handle, pun intended, each other. Especially in those erogenous zones. It's similar to giving massages and even erotic massages. See, you can't give an erotic massage if you don't know how to handle each other. So this goes right up there in A tier. You know, the hands are second to the erogenous zones. The genitalia, if you will, to be more precise. But it's a fantastic backup for whatever reason. The hands, you know, that's why we're called humans, right? Hue, because that means a spoken word, etymologically speaking. And man, because we can manipulate things, manufacture, to create, con los manos. Okay, I'm not going to get off on the tangent, but you got to understand the language that we're speaking. Not just the spoken language, but body language. And so these are really sacred activities here. And with a few extras that are not that necessary.